Hi YouTube, I'm Ivy, and today I'm going to be trying the Disney Princess Coloring Page Challenge. I've seen this challenge go around a little bit on YouTube, DeviantArt, stuff like that. It's basically where you take a coloring page off the Disney website and mix it with kind of a classic painting. I did use a couple references for this, but the main inspiration is a painting called Diana in a Landscape by Louis Mitchell Van Loo. If that's not how you pronounce it, I am so sorry. So I'm kind of trying to emulate a classic style in this painting. I used a lot of inspiration from that original painting for the background, the color palettes. This is a really different palette than I would ever use normally. It is not very moody. It seems like a lot of classical paintings kind of have almost kind of flat coloring in a sense. It's interesting to sort of study the masters because it's not something I do very often. But it came out like really well for like what I expected. I didn't think it would come out so amazing, but I'm really happy with it. So I just start out by laying kind of a base color underneath. And then to soften the line art, I made the line art layer an overlay layer. So it's kind of bringing down the darkness where I can see where the original line art was, but it's not so dark like I'm working with a black color. You can see like around the collar on the reds, it stayed very saturated, so it's easier to get a nice pop of color there while still seeing where the original lines were. Classic paintings like this, I say classic, I actually don't really know what defines a classic painting. I don't really have any like art history knowledge basically whatsoever. I think it's 18th century, the one that I referenced in this particular piece. I didn't really do a lot of research around it. I just kind of picked a piece that I thought had the right mood and color palette and stuff and would blend nicely with the Snow White picture. The main focus, it seems like, is so much on clothing folds, which is not something that the original line art had much of at all. And it's also something that is really difficult for me to like fake at all. So I tried really hard to just accentuate the clothing folds. You know, that old style has such loose clothes, lots of folds, really bold details and just how things are folding. And it's not something that I've studied much. It's not something I'm great at by any means, but there's definitely some problems with how the folds came out in this piece. But I think it does capture kind of the essence of like just how extra they were about all that was going on. Just pulling in some of the colors from the background and kind of having this like blue kind of teal overtone. It's interesting because it's kind of a gradient from green to red in the shading here. The rocks go from like, you can really see it there where it kind of goes from like a light green to a dark red. That is not something I would usually choose to do ever on my own. So that's what's really great about just like using reference and studying from the masters and stuff like that. Of course, it's great when you can come up with original things on your own. But right now I'm at a point in life where I kind of enjoy studying and I feel like my results are so much better and I'm still learning a lot just by studying and making cool things in the process. So I don't mind. I know some people really want to like make their own original stuff and that's awesome. I really like want to get to the point where I feel confident enough that I can do more of that again. But at the moment I'm having so much fun like just learning things, like just doing this piece alone and studying a style and trying to emulate it is really interesting. Even using someone else's lines and a base kind of work. Like, of course, I have my own touches to it. It doesn't look exactly like, you know, a Disney piece by any means, but just even doing that is really cool because it's a different style than what I would ever produce. And I get to see how things would blend if I did this or that differently. And you learn things from that. So it's really cool just how it all came about. So for pieces like this, to kind of get that oil effect, I really go around and I try to render things really evenly. And what I mean by that is I won't just focus on like one part and render it fully and then move on. I kind of just lay down a base coat, and then I'll lay down, you know, part one of shading, and I'll come back and keep reworking different sections. So I think in the end, it just becomes a lot more cohesive. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to tell when you're done because there's things that are a little bit like unfinished, but you know, you could work on this or that more, but it's kind of nice because of that, even because you end up just building a piece all together, all pretty cohesively. And I like that. It ends up not being like, gosh, I know when I used to do like piece by piece, I would like do the skin and the hair and like, I don't know, a couple pieces, like the big clothing parts. And then when it came to the details, I was just like, I'm so done with this piece. Like, I just want to be over. I'm tired of it. So, it doesn't work for all kinds of methods, for sure. If you're using a harder line art, it's certainly easier to get carried away with doing one piece at a time. You can still, you know, work on a piece a little bit and then, you know, come back to it later, of course. I do that with my line art all the time, but I see that happening a lot with beginning anime artists especially. And I'm definitely guilty of it. I remember when I had an art teacher tell me to like kind of render things slowly, and I didn't even really know what that meant at the time. It was like such an abstract concept compared to all the speed paints and stuff that I was watching at the time, where they would fully like completely do the skin and then like do the hair or something. Like, I don't even know how they do it anymore. But I mean, of course, that's not wrong. You can do anything however you want, but sometimes it really helps to get a good grasp of like values and composition when you're not finishing one piece, because it's easier to kind of edit things as you go. And making thumbnails is really important. Like, I try and keep an eye on the small version of my pieces as much as I can, because that's what everyone's first impression is going to be. There's so many pieces, like I'll even look at my old stuff and sometimes I'll be like, wow, like this is cool, but it doesn't even translate because when I had it zoomed out, I just didn't think about that. Like all the details and stuff, they didn't read because they just looked good big and they never translated to smaller things. So when you're thinking about a whole piece instead of one aspect, it's a lot easier to get like a general full piece looking really nice instead of having like these individual parts that are so perfected. I don't know. It's just something that I've picked up and I feel like it really helps me. So I hope it might help other people too. Who knows? So I'm just doing the final rendering here. I had so much fun with this, seriously. Yeah. So as far as just life goes, I have a couple of updates. I am leaving for Florida tomorrow. I'm like, actually, wait, when this video goes up, it'll be today. Yeah, I'm leaving for Florida. I probably won't have a video up next week, and like maybe the week after that. I hope that I'll be able to get it in then. I'm really trying to do weekly videos now, so I would like to keep that going, but I know I'm gonna miss next week because I'm like not gonna have internet basically at all, or any of my video editing software or anything. No mic, no anything. But I don't know. I mean, I guess I could try to vlog. I don't know. I'm really bad at that, but I don't know. I'll figure out something. I definitely want to do a lot of art when I'm in Florida. I just don't have anything to like record it on. So who knows what will really happen. But I don't know. I'm really excited. I'm just working on art more. It's been so fun. I'm really excited to just bring everybody on kind of this journey. I have no idea what's going to happen, and that's kind of what's exciting about it. So, God, I hope it turns out okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and have a great day.